Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Birmingham Sports Podcast. I am your host, Josh Lovett, and I want to jump right into the Birmingham Stallions as they have had a very, very eventful week. And I want to start with what the biggest question surrounding this team had been for years, which was the attendance. And then this past weekend, they had one of the best crowds that they've had ever. I mean, they've been one of the best teams in spring football, winning games, winning championships, but doing so in front of some really small crowds. And like I said, this weekend they had a great turnout. Over 18,000 fans showed up to Protective Stadium just in time to watch the Stallions get completely shut out by the Orlando Storm. And the frustrating part was everything else was set up really well. The weather was great. Tickets were really cheap. You had Gucci Mane performing at halftime. You had former head coach Skip Holtz getting honored. This should have been a really good day, really great day, even for Birmingham Stallions football. And instead, what I just mentioned were the only highlights. Nothing on the field was really good at all. I mean, it was really, really rough out there for all four quarters. The Stallions had just two real scoring opportunities all game. They missed one field goal, and they had one failed trip into the red zone, and that was it. After the game, Coach A.J. McCarron, he didn't sugarcoat anything. He said it's embarrassing. It's simple as that, and it's really hard to argue with that. The offense couldn't get anything going. They went 1 for 13 on third downs and only 166 total yards. I mean, that's not just bad. That's abysmal. It's just not functional. They even made a switch at quarterback. They went from Matt Corral to Michael Hires, who got his shot, and there was a little spark. Hires didn't play bad, but nothing really game-changing came out of that. Both guys dealt with the same issues, some overthrows, bad reads, missed opportunities. And honestly, they were a little lucky it didn't get worse. No turnovers on the stat sheet, but there were some dropped picks, some lucky bounces on some fumbles. I mean, it could have gotten really, really ugly. Now, the one bright spot is the defense. They actually held Orlando to just 3 points the entire second half after giving up a touchdown late in the first quarter. Everything else was just field goals. So, defense has always been kind of the calling card of this franchise. And that still held true this past weekend. And because of the UFL's three-point conversion rule, the game technically stayed within two scores the whole time. So, I mean, it's not that the Stallions were out of it by any point in the game. It's just they could not get anything going offensively. And because they even weren't able to get first downs, like if you watched the game or were there, it didn't even feel like it was a two-score game. And the fans knew it too. People were leaving in the fourth quarter. Others were booing. Some people were even chanting, "Save us, Skip," with Skip Holtz being in attendance. He was right there on the sideline. He didn't call any plays, but you could feel, what the crowd was thinking. So that really just leaves the question of where does this leave the Stallions, right? They're 1-3. They've lost 3 straight. They don't have a clear starting quarterback. And then when we asked Coach McCarron about the situation, he said, everything's on the table. Trades, QB change, everything's on the table. And they did not waste any time acting on that. The Birmingham Stallions have already made a trade. They have traded Matt Corral in defensive end, Armani Bledsoe, to the Orlando Storm, the team they just played, in exchange for quarterback Dorian Thompson-Robinson. And if that name sounds familiar, it's because he is a former NFL draft pick, and a record setter at UCLA, totaling over 1,200 yards from scrimmage and more than 100 touchdowns in his college career. He's only appeared in one game this season, but clearly the Stallions are just looking for a spark, and they think he can be that guy. And based on his play style and especially what we saw him do in college, he definitely could provide that. But the question now becomes, is DTR the answer, or is he just another option that's kind of on a growing list? And looking ahead, the Stallions are back at Protective Stadium next Friday. They are taking on the reigning champions, the DC Defenders. Whether it's Dorian Thompson-Robinson, Michael Hires, or somebody else that ends up running out of that tunnel, the team needs some answers, and they need them fast. Because if things keep going like they are, the conversation might not just be about the quarterbacks anymore. It might start turning towards A.J. McCarron himself, and that's something nobody wants to see, right? I mean, we all like A.J., especially around here with him playing at Alabama, and it's hard to say that AJ's the problem because I felt like he has coached some pretty decent games. It's just he's not getting a whole lot of help from the offense, and I really don't know what to do about it. I mean, hopefully DTR can come in and kind of change the game, change the pace a little bit, but they've got to get the offense going. End of story. That's just going to be what they need. We'll see who he starts. It wouldn't shock me if he starts Hires this week. Just while Dorian Thompson-Robinson is learning the offense, Hires is going to know the offense. better than DTR at this point. He's got that experience playing with the guys last weekend, so it wouldn't shock me if he gives Hires one shot at a starting role before he throws DTR in there, whether that be late in the game this week or early, or he'll start the following game. But it's just going to be an interesting position that the Stallions are in, because to wrap up the season, we're sitting, I think, close to halfway through. I'm pulling up the rest of their schedule now, and they have the rest of the way. I mentioned they got the DC Defenders this weekend, and then following that, they will go to Orlando to play the Storm. Then they will come back to Birmingham to play Dallas, Columbus, and then go play at Columbus before they finish out with Houston. So they really got to start stringing some wins together and see if they can get themselves in a position to make any damage in the postseason like we're used to seeing this team do. But yeah, that's all I've got for you guys this week. Wanted to keep it short and sweet and Stallion-centric, as you know, this is their busy time of year. It's their time to shine. So I want to thank you guys for listening, for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to this channel, and we will be back with you sometime soon.